Yeah, I can hear. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, all good, all good.
What was the occasion for y'all didn't feel like coming into work today? It was a.
We weren't invited.
That's not our call.
We weren't
I feel
invited.
that.
Yeah, we'd like to be there.
Oh
That was a
yeah, I
good
feel.
one,
Hey,
Bryce.
man.
There's a half-mile perimeter around the facility. They won't let us near you guys.
Man. Cold world.
Well, and your participation is voluntary, right?
Yeah, it is voluntary, but we love being here.
Is it voluntary with quotations?
No, I mean it's voluntary. That's what the PA's for. But again, for us having the participation that we do have, I think that speaks volume to what we're working on building here. Having the guys back, having the buy-in that we do. I'm grateful for that. I'm proud to be a part of that. So again, it's a process. We know that. We know that we have work to do. But again, that's the mindset and the attitude of the entire team.
All right, we will go to Cassidy, followed by Alex, and then Mike Solarte.
Hey Bryce, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm curious, when you're in a draft week like this as well, and I know you're focused on the workouts, but do you start watching ahead of time, like guys that you think are a possibility, just so you know a little more when they step into the building, or do you kind of keep that compartmentalized and wait till you see who it's going to be before you really start digging into them?
Yeah, kind of wait to see. Obviously, the front office and coaching staff, they handle all the draft stuff. So for us, until we know who those guys are that are coming in, then that'll change. The guys, you want to learn your teammates, and then offensive guys, as a quarterback and as a leader, you want to learn them and learn whoever it is. If that's what comes during the draft, but again, we don't know who that is. Right now, it's just work as usual, and then. When there's something to look at or try to learn, then, we'll try to do that.
And then when you got your whole receiving core back pretty much, when you look at Excel in particular, and I know it's still really early on, but what sort of strides do you feel like he has made from your point of view from this time last year to now? Yeah, I mean, you could see the focus the entire offseason. He's been here working, getting better. And you could just see the comfortability. It's different from someone trying to figure out a new playbook and figure out, a new league and field dimensions and split all the little things that the league brings. Now you could tell he's comfortable in that. He's confident. The way that he's moving, running routes, catching the ball, it all looks great. So I'm super excited for him. And as a team, as offense, we're super excited for him and for the unit. Is getting used to the field dimensions and the different hash marks that big of a difference? I mean, it's little things that add up. Again, you've been playing football your whole life. Up until this point, it's on the same field. So, it's just little stuff that, when you get accustomed to it, it's another little thing you don't have to think about and becomes second nature. And the more you can pile that on, it's always helpful.
My bad. Hey, Bryce, congrats on the Lakers win yesterday. I know that meant a lot. So last year you hosted a whole bunch of guys in California, a variety of wide receivers and stuff to do workouts. Are you guys planning on doing that again this year?
Yeah, we'll figure something out for the break after OTAs and before camp.
Got you. Kind of building off of Cassie's question with the NFL draft, not talking about specific players, but you were someone who comes in first overall pick, a lot of expectations. What advice do you give to NFL draft picks coming into Carolina, particularly that guy who may or may not be picked at 8, who will have similarly high expectations? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, just to be yourself. Obviously, you want to buy in and learn at the next level, but also, all the guys that have made it this far, it's for a reason. So just embracing that, being yourself, and coming in, and obviously you want to be a part of the system, wherever it may be, and do what you're told, but also to hold on to that individuality, hold on to what it is that makes you special, that got you here. I'd say that's probably the best advice I could give.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Bryce. Good to see you again. In all of our dealings with you, you're always quick to deflect to your teammates and point out what others are doing and the good things that they have done to try to get you guys success. How are you approaching this off-season and these voluntary workouts and going into OTAs after the finish of the season that you personally had? Because, I mean, a lot of folks really saw your play and the way that you attack things after coming back. And, I mean, I can only imagine it's a different kind of mindset for you building off of that success coming into this year.
Yeah, just to we talk about it in the meeting room, in the QB room, just to kind of take it to a graduate level, from a philosophy standpoint, from leadership standpoint, from X's and O's standpoint. This time last year, it's all about learning and all about memorizing and trying to understand the nuances, and then you're kind of anticipating what it's going to be like on the field and live. Now fortunately, I already have that under my belt. We all do as a offense with the same staff coming back. So now it's really owning up to that graduate level of the offense. Now that it's the second year in it, we kind of got the kinks out, started to kind of form an identity a little bit. And now it's really starting and expanding on those details early on, and having those conversations earlier, so that we can have a foundation that's a lot more in depth now that it's year 2 in the system.
And kind of dovetailing off of that, the continuity that you guys have in the coaching staff, and the turnover is not what it was, and the players that are coming back, how vital are these voluntary workouts to kind of start building that core group and culture and identity that you guys want to carry forward in terms of what you do on the field?
Yeah, it's huge. Again, it's super important, just for us to be able to have these reps right now, just working out, but still having meetings and being able to talk through football stuff. Have those conversations, and then obviously, as we get through the different phases, it'll ramp up. But it's big. Again, just this time, the more we can build, the more we can kind of recenter ourselves. Again, we're starting at a higher level this year, which is great. So anytime we can get together, we have those reps, have those conversations. It's something that's huge. So it speaks to everyone and the participation we have of the people buying into that.
And last one for me, just off of that, is there a sense of urgency to get everything as tight as possible through voluntaries, through OTAs, through camp, so that way you guys are able to kind of hit the ground, not necessarily running, but even maybe sprinting in week 1?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always urgency. I think that's really important. Obviously there's comfortability, and we understand certain things, but there has to be urgency. It can't be a laid back approach. There's stuff for us to build off of. Again, we're confident, we're excited for the future, but we have to be urgent about building and growing. And there's definitely that sense throughout the building. So that's a big theme for us.
Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll go to Mike K, followed by David and Joe.
Hey Bryce, nice to see you again. From the standpoint of like what you've learned from Andy over the first 2 years, I know you're still a young player, but what does he kind of pass on to you about teaching kind of not necessarily the next generation, but maybe a younger quarterback, as you go on in your career? Obviously, there's, the draft, anything can happen, but let's say they draft somebody on day 3. How comfortable are you in mentoring somebody who's a younger quarterback?
Yeah, I think that, again, I was super grateful to have Andy here, and someone I learned from a ton. So again, that's something that I'm grateful for. And regardless of the scenario, I feel like, especially our position, and as a leader in general, it's important to share, to bring others along, to try to grow together. So that's something I live by as a teammate, kind of no matter what. So, again, I'm grateful to have the example that Andy set for me individually, and position-wise, and just as a leader, and for the team, just believing in doing everything we can to make each other better. That's definitely something that I have instilled in me.
And then, your rookie year, you didn't really have a normal off season. Last year, you did have a normal off season, but it was your first time having a normal off season. I was just curious, what did you take from last year and implement this year, and kind of the break from the facility from a football standpoint, from a preparation standpoint?
just want to be efficient about routine. Be intentional. Have times delegated, not and have a plan. Which is last year was kind of my first full off season, and was able to kind of figure out what worked best for me, and have a plan of the time away from football immediately after season, and then the plan of when to start back up, how to start back up, physically, mentally, and kind of trying to work towards this time now. Again, grateful to have a great staff here to talk to about that stuff, and have conversations about what they felt would be best. So again, just trying to buy into the program here. We have a great new staff, a lot of great new additions to the staff. That are guys that are super easy to reach and to talk to. So having conversations with them to be at my best for OTAs.
Thanks, Bryce.
Hey, Bryce, David here. Building off a little bit of what Mike said, just simple. How do you feel different entering this offseason program compared to how you felt the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think it's nice having this kind of first year of having that comfortability and familiarity with the system, with the coaching staff, just a little bit of stability. Definitely has this has gone a long way for me and I think everyone on the team. For us, again, it's not so much about finding it and trying to figure it out and trying to learn, but it's more just about growing and executing and being the best version of ourselves, and having that approach and mindset is it's huge, especially in comparison.
And kind of going back to last season a little bit, because Dave just talked about how he started kind of building around the offense around what you did well, and taking a little bit of that. At what point did you notice that really starting to gel and happen?
Yeah, I think it was gradually. I think just gradually through, especially through the end of the year, all of us again just starting to form that identity. For us starting to get more and more comfortable in the system, starting to have more ownership, myself and everyone. And again, we're all grateful just to get those reps and get those kinks out. And again, now for us, it's having identifying, knowing there's things that we've been able to have success at, do positive. But now how can we be the most efficient with that? How can we make sure that that's the standard, that's normal? How can we continue to grow into what we know we can be? So we know that requires work. So again, that's what we're in right now.
You also got to relax some. What have you done that's been fun since you left the building back in January?
Yeah, just been able to be with family, friends, be able to decompress a little bit, but nothing too crazy. All that stuff is that's kind of all I need.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks.
For sure.
Hey, Bryce, I asked Derek the same question, but David, I think you're still on voice there. Wonder if you could address the Panthers not having fans the next 2 years at training camp while they finish the field house.
Yeah, it's that part is super unfortunate. Especially for us. For me and for the entire team. We love that fan interaction. The support, the community, the environment. That's really one of the highlights of the year for us, is just being able to have that daily interaction. So that's something we're definitely gonna miss. It sucks. So obviously, it's what we had to do indoor wise, and there's logistics and stuff behind it. But we're definitely gonna miss that daily interaction with the fans and with the community.
And then, completely different topic. As a basketball guy, have you gotten to watch any tape of Colin Granger yet from his days in college basketball?
I haven't watched the basketball tape, but he's been working super hard. A great dude. Really good attitude. Really good approach to everything that's going on. It's really cool just to see someone have that approach, have that fearlessness. For him to be on the journey that he's on. It's really cool to see. I have a ton of admiration for that, and I'm excited for him. Again, has a great attitude. It's early, and we're it's this is day 3 of OTAs, so obviously we're all figuring it out. We're not on the football field yet, but I have confidence in his mindset. Again, I love his approach, so I'm excited for that.
When you see him, like, can you tell, like, oh, that's a basketball dude?
I mean, again, right now it's just weight room and running and stuff. So, you know, you can't really tell too much from that.
Thank you.
All right, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Bryce, thank you for taking the time, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.